Hey everybody, welcome to Quarantine Grilling. I am Fred Rewey. I am the mediator of this little brouhaha shenanigan show that is episode 4, which is now entitled In the Can. So just a little clarification of In the Can. Basically, that means that we have challenged our cooks this week, of which I decided to bow out and sit back and have a cigar, which worked out well for me. But we've challenged our cooks to cook only foods that come in a can. So sit back and we're gonna enjoy this one. So let me introduce both of them here. If we're working with our technology every week, if you find that something lags, hit refresh on it. Should be able to get you back in there. We're getting better all the time. Mr. Carney, who's actually driving this week's base out of his house, is now out of the AOL minutes, has a little faster internet, understands indoor plumbing as well. So I think we're going to be a little bit better this week than we were last week. So thank you for coming back. Let me introduce both people here. We've got in one corner Brian McGee, and in our other corner, Jonathan.
Gentlemen, welcome. Brian, I'm going to need you to move just a little bit to your left towards your grill so we can see your face right there in the middle. Yeah, there we go. There we go. About that. Fred, doing great.
We can't see you at all when we do the tri-screen there. You got to get like in front of the cans, Brian.
Yeah, there you go.
This is a really shoddy operation. You'd have think we'd have figured this stuff out beforehand, but Brian, you're not on camera at all.
Yeah, so, if it isn't like technology issues, it's user error.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But episode 4. Thank you for introducing us, and yeah, thank you. You're really starting the MEATorator position here this week.
Well, I've decided to embrace it. If I'm going to sit here and have to smoke cigars and watch you guys cook, and then occasionally I'll cook. But by the way, I did want to warn you up front on this show because I'm putting down my foot and I'm introducing something new, and I'm going to pick a winner at the end of every show, whether it's you or Brian or the guest or me for sitting on my ass doing absolutely nothing. Like in this show, someone's going to win the show. Someone's going to get points. We'll do a point tally for the season or something, and then we'll give away prizes. I have no idea what it's going to be, but we're going to do that. So, by the way, before we go on today, which we're in the can, where we've challenged our cooks to do only stuff in the can. What did you guys cook this week? So, Brian, let's start with you. What did you cook anything this week, or did you just boil everything in a bag and not leave your house? What happened?
Right. Well, I did do some fish this week, but something I do every once in a while, you get that urge, that craving. And Fred, I know you do this a little bit, but I did a lot of breakfast for dinner.
Okay.
I think I found my new holy trinity is bacon, onions, and bell peppers.
Bacon, onions, and bell peppers.
Diced up and put in an omelet. I think I've found my new holy grail. I did a lot of that this week.
All right. Okay.
Delicious.
Yeah. Added to a hash, added to an omelet. It was, I think I fell in love again.
Very nice. Very nice. What about you, John? Jonathan, anything else what did you do on your side? I know you did something. I saw pictures because it was somebody's anniversary, and I don't know.
Yeah, my parents celebrated their 43rd wedding anniversary and my mother's 29th birthday. I don't know how the math quite works there, but we had I prepared a romantic date dinner for them, and I played third wheel on their date. So we did a 70-day dry-aged bone-in ribeye. It was fantastic, and we did a 50-day porterhouse. And we started it off with a nice little prosciutto and caviar dish and some fresh vine tomatoes. And then as a side dish, we did a nice carrot dish with the multicolored carrots. And we had baked potato, which I did directly on the coals, which was awesome. I'd probably do it on the show because it took up just about an hour to make. But yeah, that was probably the most fun I had cooking this week. It was just nice for that. And then last night I did. To end the week, I did a bison hanger steak, which was excellent. I got my Brussels sprouts out of the way, so we didn't have to cook any sprouts.
I was actually very concerned because I don't believe you had mentioned Brussels sprouts yet. So I thought that there was something going on. There was like a recall on Brussels sprouts. You fell out of favor. You had an argument. Something. So okay, good. We had Brussels sprouts.
Can you cook canned Brussels sprouts? Is that even a thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that would have. No, they're not in cans. They're not in cans. There's no Brussels sprouts.
There can't be. I hope not.
Guys,
There's
I don't
frozen.
know about you guys, but I was super excited this week going into the grocery store. I'm in the grocery store every few days, and it's a tiny town, so I've known everybody that's worked there for like 15, 20, 30 years since I grew up. So they're all in there, and they know that we have the grilling show. So they're like, "What are you doing this week?" And I'm standing in the can aisle for like half an hour. Where people are walking around me with social distancing, and I'm like, I'm trying to find something that gets in the can episode. So I'm excited to put together what I have this week because I'm about 90% can over here.
Wow.
I even have canned wine to drink.
Show it off. Let's see it.
Come on, let's see the canned wine.
No free advertising. Speaking of free
Oh,
advertising,
not even good canned wine. It's house canned wine.
just house canned wine.
Wow.
But Fred, Brian, let's have a little word from our sponsors here. Our guest last week was Evan Darnell of the Red Meat Lovers Club, and they decided that they were going to start advertising with us. So thank you to the Red Meat Lovers Club. Join them online. I actually need to use one of their techniques. This is kind of a riot. I have a camera here that's supposed to be in the background. It's the grill cam, and it's my iPhone. And guess what? It's too hot. I need to put it in the freezer. So tip from the Red Meat Lovers Club. Evan, very fitting that happened. So the sizzle cam might not be available this week. Next is our friends at McGee's Smoked Meats and Crowned Heads Cigars. Crowned Heads, thank you for sharing our quarantine grilling show on your company page. We really, really appreciate that and appreciate the partnership. If you have a chance to catch one of McGee's Smoked Meats events in the southwestern and southern United States, get after it. And if you have a chance to smoke a Crowned Head cigar, get her done. Also, our friends at Wood Butcher of Maine, Wood Butcher. We have our Wood Butcher blocks and the Wood Butcher cigar ashtray and coaster, which is brand new. News from the Wood Butcher. One of the events the Wood Butcher was going to be doing in May is going to be pushed back and rescheduled as the states open up. Wood Butcher will begin taking small amounts of new orders on butcher blocks in the next several weeks. The Wood Butcher is actually stopping by this week. But that's a word from our advertisers. Back to you, Fred, and the whole crew.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I thought we did everything we could to get Evan to completely bolt from the show as fast as possible last week. So it's good. It's good to have him. It's a good group. I was super impressed last week, and if you didn't catch that episode, how much they've raised for charity. And when you said you were going to take a trick out of Evan's book last week, I thought you were going to, put your phone on the grill. Like, he had to overheat his phone. So I thought you were going to go for that, but apparently it's something else.
It couldn't have been more fitting. It happened the second I switched over to the ad screen. I'm like, where's the grill cam? And I look over and it's got the temperature sign on it. I'm like, of course. Evan is here in spirit, and hopefully he's in the chat box.
Of course. Just so Steven is in the chat right now. Stephen Redex. I mean, and I knew this joke was going to happen. He says, if you get an email from me about the canned meat, don't open it. It's spam. So, but I'm bummed.
We also just put that up on the screen as well, so people can see that one.
Yeah. So that's not surprising at all. So anyway, what else do we got going on this week? So everybody's got to figure out what they're cook. So I guess before we get too far. So what exactly are you guys cooking this week? I mean, again, if you're just joining in, the challenge to both these guys was to cook only items that came out of a can. I was smart and decided to, when John asked me last week, are you cooking this week? I'm like, hell no. So I'm just sitting here smoking cigars, and we can make fun of these guys as we go along. So what are you guys cooking out of the can this week? Brian, let's start with you.
Well, I want to try. Why didn't I just take your lead and do the same thing? So I am going to cook. I'm trying to elevate canned chili with Vienna sausages. You talk about taking a challenge. This is gonna be good times right here. No,
well, I want to welcome.
Let me just say, no beans. No beans.
Yeah, I want to welcome everybody to this week's episode of Tinfoil Chef. Joining us is Brian McGee, who will be mixing chili and sausages, but no beans. So it's
no
Texas chili.
Did I mention we're sponsored by Rolaids this week?
I must have forgot to put the logo on. It's on my phone.
Yeah, maybe Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's your entire meal? Is it basically a heat and serve scenario here,
I'm going to
Brian?
be doing, chili with, I'm going to add some onions, peppers, I've got some fresh ground pork I'm going to add to it. So I'm going to try to elevate it, make it better.
So will there be any actually cooking, or are you just heating up all the ingredients
No,
in a
well,
pot?
there'll be some. I have to brown some pork, so
Okay, all right, okay,
there will be
okay,
some.
all right, okay, all right. Mr. Carney, please save us from the
Save us.
gutter of what is now from the heat and serve buffet going on over at McGee's.
Have no
Like I need a
fear.
sneak guard.
John Carney's here. I'm doing 2 dishes today. We got first one. We've got
It was a
oysters.
BOGO in the aisle of canned goods.
We've got oysters, Rockefellar, a play on oysters Rockefeller. We're going to be using canned oysters. We've got canned oysters. Let me switch over to the sizzle cam real quick, so I can show some people this
Brad,
sizzle cam is back.
Does canned chili or canned oysters scare you more?
All right. Since we're not going to have a lot of sizzling going on here, we have an artificial sizzle sound. So the feature is, I got a lot of questions this week. Wanted spam. Spam will be featured in every single dish I make today. Oysters Rockefeller, oysters Rockefeller, canned oysters. We got canned milk. We've got canned spinach. We've got canned chicken broth. We've got canned garlic, canned basil, canned chives, salt. I've got salt that has a canned tin top to it. And we've got canned spam. The second dish we're going to be making tonight is a grilled chicken carbonara made with spam in place of bacon. And we've got chicken thighs that we're going to be grilling. So there will be cooking on this end. I've got to get started soon so we can save the show.
Yeah.
But I also got canned house wine again for the white wine. And I'll be drinking canned red wine as well. So I've got a lot going on here. So we'll see how it comes out.
All right, Jonathan, I'm gonna let you get started because clearly, I think I counted 23 cans of stuff over there, and Brian has 2. So Brian and I are gonna chat for a little minute. Give you a chance give you a chance to get going there, Jonathan. And Brian, you're gonna have to weigh in here on why you're even still on the show after this week.
Yeah.
But hey, anything can happen. Things can go bad on the show. We know how this goes. So, John,
I like to cook one good dish instead of multiple mediocre dishes, but that's me.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
So,
basically, Jonathan looked like he was picking up food for a food bank or something walking down that aisle. I don't know.
I did leave a few things out. Now, people are asking, this chicken carbonara is what I'm doing. I'm not just making the sauce. I'm not just making the chicken. I'm not just doing the spam. We actually have noodles that are be going in, and for those noodles, we have ramen.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody was asking that. I can see the chat. You forget I have access. I don't see anybody asking about your chicken carbonara here. Not one person. Someone said to check McGee's plumbing after the show. That's fair. We're gonna see what happened. Welcome, Glenn Cases here. John's here. Steve Holmes. Sean Lear. Angie Go Packers, she's here. James Lay's here. Thank you for joining. Daryl Gardner, my man. You're never gonna get that knee fixed, are you? Anyway, so if you're just joining us, a lot of people coming in right now. Basically, the challenge is that the cooks this week could only cook things out of a can. And if you've ever wanted to watch an episode of Tinfoil Chef, as I mentioned earlier, I think this is pretty much it. Even McGee's dogs are not near as interested in this week. Normally, they're just kind of looking at that food. They're just basically like not even paying attention at this point. I don't know if there's a show on the air, certainly not on like real TV, but is there like a show where people are like just opening up cans of food? This is probably, for only 4 episodes, for us to have our worst episode already, that's pretty impressive. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Hey, I'm about excelling. I mean, right now over here, Fred, I just opened the spam's obviously open. I showed that off. I'm going to make some spam bacon to get things started. So I've got spam bacon going on. The way I'm going to do the spam bacon is I got olive oil and I got some shallots in here. We're going to be using a lot of shallots today to kind of mask some of the flavors of the can. But we're going to do shallots, olive oil, and spam bacon at first. And I'm going to try to actually grill these oysters. And I got charcoal, so I'm going to test on one and see how it goes. I've never grilled canned oysters because there's no shelves here. So it'll be interesting. Then my actual presentation of the product, of the Oysters Rockefeller, a.k.a. Carnefeller, will be in the cast iron.
So considering the oysters are probably about approximately inch best case scenario, and you normally do 50 pounds of charcoal for a singular steak on the show, what'd you do for charcoal for this?
We did 60 pounds of charcoal today.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Fred, am I mistaken that Spam and bacon should not be used back to back?
Yeah, I have to say he lost points on that for the overall show because I did not like both those words in the same sentence.
Right.
Now, Brian, I will tell you, if you're looking for a leg up in winning the show, cooking that chili hobo style, just opening it up and putting it on the grill in the can is definitely bonus points for me.
I want to look at what Brian's doing, but I have way too much cooking to be watching him preparing things right now.
I am going to add some canned Guinness to this chili as well.
You just made that up.
Guinness.
You just made that up on the fly, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, yeah. If you're joining us in the chat room on Facebook, I should be able to see that. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Barry. Feel free to chime in, ask a question. If there's a question you want me to pass on to the guys, I'll be glad to do it. I'm not cooking, obviously, because I boycotted this episode, but now I'm stuck here playing along anyway. So, but if you have a question, throw it in the chat. I should be able to read it. A little bit of a delay. I'm not sure how long. I think I'm about 12 seconds ahead of you, which means Carney is also 12 seconds ahead of you. He's all right now, so he may be exactly on the same time frame as you. How this goes down.
So another item I'm going to do here on the grill, Fred, is when we get to the chicken carbonara aspect with the Spam, is the Spam is going to get grilled too before I chop that up, and it's all going to go into a sauce. So we're making a sauce over here too today. But we're going to finish the Oysters Rockefeller first. And then the chicken we got for the carbonara is... I was going to do canned chicken. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Most of the canned chicken they had available up here was already chopped up in pieces. I figured I'd make it somewhat respectable. We're going to use chicken thighs, and I've had it marinating in lemon juice here for the last 4 or 5 hours.
I do have.
I'm sorry.
Can
we back up for a second?
Well.
Yeah. Can we back up for a second, Jonathan?
Yeah.
You somehow, of all the stuff, all the canned crap you have on there, you somehow drew the line that chicken in a can was it. That was too much.
You've got to have morals and you got to have boundaries, and my boundary was chicken.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going to put one of these oysters on. The issue I'm going to run into this oyster is they're small. So I think what's going to happen with the Oysters Rockefeller here is the oysters are going to get finished inside the cast iron I got going on, and it's going to be like a deconstructed Oysters Rockefeller. So the oysters are now going to go into the cast iron here on the fire I got on the side.
So you're just worried they're going to fall through the grill?
Yeah, they're real tiny, and they're going to shrink up a little bit. They're losing a lot. The one I put on there lost a lot of its flesh. So we're just going to do the Spam and chicken over there.
Brian, you had that problem when you were doing the breakfast for dinner stuff. You were doing pancakes on the grill, but half the pancakes, you just ended up with sticks, right? You just ended up with pancake sticks.
I found out the hard way that they fall right through the grating.
Yeah, okay, all right. Didn't take Danny long to bring in the spam, egg and spam Monty Python reference. If I had bonus points for putting in movies and stuff, you would definitely get it, Danny, right there. But there's no points for the crew, only for these guys because we're going to pick a winner. Steve asked, would beer can chicken have qualified?
Absolutely.
Boy, I think it would have had a good chance. I think it would have had, Well, because you went outside you did the chicken wasn't in a can, so. Aaron says you should be drinking from a can. Actually, he says if you know what I mean. I'm just gonna. Let's just say that they are. Let's just go with that.
So I just put the white wine in. I browned up the shallots and the Spam bacon quite a bit. I want to get a char taste from that. because I want to try to simulate what I would have got on the grill there. So I charred up the onions and the shallots and the spam bacon quite a bit. Then I threw the garlic in because I don't want the garlic to burn. I don't want a burnt garlic taste. I don't mind the char from the onions, but I don't like charred garlic. So then I'm going to add after that. Then the only two things I have left when the white wine reduces a little bit is we're going to season with some salt and pepper, and then I'm going to throw the spinach in. I'm going to throw the spinach in towards the end. I'm going to put the oysters in first. After this reduces, season a little bit, give it a taste with my spoon, and then put the spinach in, and then we're going to top it. I didn't use mozzarella or jack cheese. I'm using cheddar cheese and fresh grated Parmesan on the top of this, and we'll finish it off with some chives for some decoration there, some garnishing.
Well, Brian, while Jonathan's getting all bougie over there with the canned goods, what do you got going on now?
All right, so I got the pork on browning. I got some canned smoked garlic ready to go, which I'm going to add to the pork.
Oh, yeah. What's canned smoked garlic? What is that? I've never even heard of that.
You never heard of smoked garlic?
No, but canned smoked garlic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Little can of garlic. Let me move this out of the way.
There was a couple things, Fred, I was surprised about when I went shopping. One, how much stuff actually comes in the can. And then two, how much of my town actually had it. Like, I was surprised at some of the stuff my town had. So I was really impressed with the Hannaford grocery stores.
I don't think there's anything you can't get in a can.
I also use
Brussels
truffles.
sprouts.
Yeah, Brussels sprouts. I just use truffle salt in here rather than regular salt, just to give it some more flavor. I want a really rich dish.
Oh, yeah. When you're dealing with quality canned ingredients, you really don't want to cut back on the salt.
So I got the oysters in. Man, there was 8 ounces, so I got a pound of oysters in here. Delicious. Smells good.
All right, I gotta let that heat up.
So I got a response. So Steve, one of our followers here, Steve Dex.
Yeah, you keep cutting out.
And by the way, we're now live on Facebook again. So the Quarantine Grilling Show is back live. So if you're on and you're watching me live, you can now watch the show live. And we're back.
We're back?
We're back. And we're live on Facebook. Refresh it. All right, so we're live. Where are you at, Brian?
Coming back. I had to grab something. I'm here.
All right, the spinach is going to go into my oysters now.
I'm gonna add my canned tomatoes. Crush them up by hand.
I think we're back live. I don't know. Was there a glitch in the matrix? Somebody said, Aaron, I don't know what happened. I know that I passed up American Idol to host that show for this, so I don't think that worked out well. In retrospect, 15 years later, they finally started this show, so all this time I could have been doing something else. All right, so we're back. We're live. Give everybody an update of what happened while they were gone and where you are in your cooking stages. Brian, let's start with you because I don't know where Carney is. He's MIA right now.
Oh my God. Okay, so I've added the ground pork to the canned chili mix. I'm now adding a can of Guinness, and I added a can of San Marano tomatoes and a can of diced tomatoes. I'm about to add the Vienna sausages. Oh my god! And then I've got some onions and peppers chopped up that I'm going to add as well. And then it's going to start to stew.
I'd like to take this moment to formally apologize to Guinness and its affiliates. I am a big fan of Guinness.
Watch it after.
And it really was. I'm hoping that pouring Guinness into that concoction was not a hate crime. Was not a hate crime. So
again, I ask: is it worse than Spam bacon?
Well, I don't think Spam bacon's a thing. So I'm going to give you that right now. I'm not sure where we are on that. Jonathan, are you with us? Are you cooking?
I am cooking. I'm cooking and doing tech support. We are live. We are back up live on the feed. I have got the oysters going. We're about to hit some cheese on it.
Of course we are.
Sit there for a bit.
All right,
so if you're just joining us or joining us again since we lost feed for a little while there, thanks. I'm blaming it on Zuckerberg. Of course we are. If you're just joining us, the deal is these guys are supposed to cook stuff only out of cans. And if you go back and watch the top of the show, Brian listed off like 2 cans, and Jonathan listed off like I think 107 cans of stuff that he's putting into whatever it is. He's legitimately, and I respect this. He is legitimately, Jonathan is trying to go gourmet out of this can thing. He has totally embraced it.
I think the best comment here, one, thank you for that, but I think the best comment we saw so far, I'm going to put up on the screen. It was our friend Steve Dex. Steve says, Carney was making a comment about me. Fred gets bonus points for looking truly concerned about the feed.
Yeah. Well,
so anyway, we're back up.
I wasn't watching the feed. I was actually watching Peaky Blinders. I could barely confirm in this show. No, I'm just kidding. I was actually trying to figure out the feed here. So, Wes is with us. Wes said toilet seat and Rewey reunited.
Oh, dear God.
I'm not even going to go into Brian's nickname or tell anybody how that nickname came about.
That was an unauthorized nickname.
So, Fred,
are any nicknames authorized?
No, that's true.
Okay.
Fred, I'm about to use the grill for the first time. I'm a little ashamed what I'm using it for. I'm using it to melt the cheese on the top of the oysters.
Wait, did you get canned cheese?
They didn't have canned cheese. I got bagged cheese. So I got bagged cheese, and I got fresh. I did get fresh Parmesan Reggiano.
You would have won the show if you'd have brought out the Velveeta. The Velveeta in a can. That would have been spray cheese.
So I'm going to shut the lid here to melt the cheese. And we're going to call the oysters. Carnefeller's about to be done. And then we're going to start on the Carbonara with Spam, which is going to be the highlight. All right, so that's good. Live, show's live. What else we got going on? So I'm in a little lull right here just for a few minutes till the oysters are done. I'm going to take a picture of the oysters and get it on the grill cam. So we'll have that there in just a little bit.
I think this is a good time to do our top 5 that we put out to each other this week.
I was about to say, yep.
I say we get it done before the show's over because the computer freezes or something. We got to get it in.
See that's the difference between you and me. I'm a professional. I just said let's go to the top 5 in the back of my mind, thinking, hey, what if we lose feed? We'll at least get the top 5 over with. You, of course, blurted it out to everybody. So now we're going to do the top 5 just before the feed crashes again. So anyway, what the challenge was is that we had to, each of us, independently, after a very long debate, by the way, because this was supposed to be a top 10. This was supposed to be, hey, let's do a quarantine top 10. And then we're like, well, how are we going to do that? And then there's this argument of, well, everybody picks 10, and then we pick the ones that are common. Go, well, what if we don't have any in common? And then it was like, okay, everybody picks 3. Well, who gets to pick the extra one? And then it was going to be this weighted thing. Then it was going to involve math, and we had to get out pi, and we had to figure all this stuff out. So bottom line is, we just said, screw it. We're all making our own list. So here's what it is. We made a list of what is essentially each of our top 5 must-have kitchen items. So we're going to start with McGee. And you can chime in the comments whether you agree or disagree, or pick your favorite list, whoever you think nailed this the most. But he had picked a garlic press. Man, this is really hard to read because, Jonathan's getting all crazy with his fonts.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? McGee, read your five. What is it? Garlic press and what else?
Garlic press, chef knife, cleaver, instant read thermometer.
Oh, that was it. Okay, that's what I couldn't read. Okay. And chef's knife, cleaver, and seasoned cast iron.
Cast iron skillet, yeah.
Okay,
With an
all right.
mention to the coffee brewer.
Carney's got tongs, which I respect that. I really can't read these fonts. Something chips.
So I've got tongs. I have chef's knife. I have a spoon.
Okay.
A spoon. It's very useful. And then I have a wood butcher block. And my last must-have kitchen tool is my iPhone, so I can post my pictures on Instagram.
Okay. All right. I had picked a salt block, and if you were around for episode 2, you would know why. I picked a hybrid pellet grill smoker, and I'd like to say, by the way, that I'm the only one that included any sort of heat source whatsoever, so I'm the only one that's going to have actually cooked food in the show. A quality knife, a meat thermometer, and salt pepper grinder. So I kind of snuck salt pepper grinder into one there, so I kind of got 6. So we'll detract points for that because I had 2 use of what are those little squiggly lines, forward slashes. I had 2 of those that kind of snuck in extra stuff. But we had another argument afterwards because I had chose pellet grill smoker, and I'm like, hey, you guys don't have a heating source, and then basically they said that was assumed, but I don't know. Or that's out for debate. So
I will agree with Carney on one thing. Is my favorite tasting spoon / basting spoon. A good spoon is a good tool to have.
Okay, I like it. So leave in the comments who you think wins. There are no prizes. There's only bragging rights. But those are your 3 lists you get to choose from. I'm not going to sway anybody one way or another, but just keep in mind only one of them you actually get to cook food with. But now wait a minute. Now, in their defense, and I want to be fair as the MEATorator. I still can't say that word. On this week's episode, mine really wasn't needed because you could have opened up cans of stuff and actually ate. Well, although none of you had can opener on the list, so I'm not sure actually at the end of the day you could have eaten anything. So, but there it is. So there's our top 5. They will not always be cooking related. We were going to do a top 10, like I said, but that apparently went completely. That was just a pointless argument.
Carney, are you hearing this, Carney? He's not trying to sway us, but we're not going to be able to cook with anything or open anything. But he's not trying to sway which list is better.
Well, hey, right now, I've got 1 vote for Mike. Thank you, Mike. And Wade Hill has a vote for John. And we're still waiting for McGee's relatives to log on, and then they can vote.
Just to get on.
Cole actually came to my side. He says, "Love you, John, but Fred wins this one." So there you go.
Why the iPhone is perfect. My list is fantastic. I can cook anything with it. I can take pictures and post it anywhere in the world. The things I have take care of anything I would need to do, and I could definitely get into a can with a knife. I can get in a can with a knife, and then the iPhone, the grams are perfect. The Instagram needs to eat first.
Okay,
so I do have food on the grill, by the way. I got food on the grill.
If our list, by the way, was, hey, impress 14-year-old girls on Instagram, yes, your iPhone would become an important utensil. But the rest of us that only care about the food, I don't know what to tell you there, man. I can't help you out. So go ahead, talk about the food you're cooking, Jonathan, right now.
I got the Spam on the grill. I put a little oil in it on top of it to get some fire coming up from the coals. I want to get it fiery, and I got the chicken on there too. The chicken thighs. I hit one side with some pepper. I'm usually against pepper on things that are get hot flame, but I want pepper. I want flavor. I want char taste because the reason why is the condensed milk I have is sweetened whole condensed milk. It's going to be very, very rich. So I want a lot of charred flavors to go along with this so it fits the grilling show. But yeah, we're grilling the Spam here. We're not going to do any diamond grill marks. We're just getting some fire on it. The Oysters
Again, if
Rockefeller
you're-
is done.
Very nice.
Let's not quick call that.
It
And
looks good.
I also have canned olive oil in the can. So I'm going to use a little canned olive oil.
Again, if you're just dialing in, the chefs, I'm not even going to say chefs. I can't even say that. I'm going to say the guys cooking this week are only allowed to cook things out of cans. So I think we have a new trend here of coming up with really cool ways to kind of make it, stump you guys and make you have to use certain ingredients.
We could do it like an Iron Chef show.
Yeah.
Secret ingredient.
Yeah. But we're going to call it Tinfoil Chef because I actually kind of really like that name.
Iron Cook Show. Tinfoil Cooks.
All right, so I'm starting my carbonara right now. I've got, I'm going to put shallots in first. Again, I want to get that same onion taste going that I did with the Rockefellar, the oysters.
Rockefellar.
And then we're going to do a little white wine in there at the same time to reduce that down with the shallots. And this is going to move over to the grill top here in a bit. Right now I'm starting it on the side burner here, but I'm using cast iron on everything.
All right, so this seems like a perfect time for me to bring up the episode of basically I have 5 questions of would you rather, and both of you get to answer these questions, and this is the speed round of would you rather while we're waiting for the plating up of food and everything. So number 1, would you rather make Rice Krispie treats or Jell-O pudding?
Rice Krispie treats.
I'm going to go Rice Krispie treats with Brian. Absolutely.
It's a good choice. Would you rather eat pizza rolls or Hot Pockets?
We know Fred's answer.
I'm going Hot Pockets.
I'm going pizza rolls.
Oh, Brian wins that one. Okay. You have a fork, a spoon, a knife, and a pizza cutter, but you can only have one for cooking the entire show. What you going to pick? And be careful, because this could come up in a future show.
What are the options again?
Fork, spoon, knife, or pizza cutter?
Wow.
And be careful of your pick. It will be archived.
Cut with a pizza cutter. Spoon.
I know what I'd pick. I'm going to listen to Brian's reasoning on his.
I know my pick, but I mean,
I'm going to go with a spoon.
Oh, whoa.
Ooh, whoa!
I'm going knife.
With a spoon.
I'm going knife.
I would have went knife. I would have had to have picked knife. Wow. Okay. All right. So next question: would you prefer to eat with 20 people or just one in addition to yourself?
I like groups, so 20.
I'm going to go groups. Groups are more fun when you're eating and drinking.
Yep.
Okay. So if we ever actually get 20 people on this show, then we know to go with that. Just kidding.
Like we used to do at Kenny and Ziggy's in Houston.
Oh yeah, there you go. All right, last question. This is your deathbed meal, or you're in prison and you're going to the gas chamber. I'm not sure, however you want to look at it. Do you want to cook your own last meal, or do you want to have it cooked for you? But understand, if it's cooked for you, it will be better than anything you've ever cooked.
I'm going to cook for myself. Cook for myself.
Can we pick who cooks it?
No. Were you going to pick Jonathan?
No, I was going to pick my grandmother.
Oh, see, now, is your grandmother alive?
No.
Oh, see, now that, okay, now game over.
She was the best cook I knew, so I would have her cook
cheap.
her.
He's cooking. All he's doing is opening Vienna sausages and putting some cooked chili in it, some onions together.
This is second place.
And then I'm losing because we're pulling on people's heartstrings.
I know. Yeah, he just
that's why I asked if I could pick who cooked it or not.
You just really went for the heartstrings
if
there.
I can't
Really
pick,
went.
then I would cook myself.
I was going to pick Jesus, but hey, okay. Come on. That was not
Jesus is a
even
friend of mine.
That's right. That's right. Cole's watching. He said he would cook for himself. If you're in the chat room here and you're on live, let us know. Would you cook it for yourself, or knowing that it's the best meal ever, would you have somebody else cook for you? Brian's pulling out his awkward towel from South Park, and it has a lot of odd stains on it, Brian. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, that's a lot of chili and yeah.
Chris says he's watching so he can properly troll later. I'm assuming that's going to be the after party in the Zoom room.
Yeah.
No, it'll be all week. It'll be all week with Chris. It's a 24/7 troll job. It's trolling all the time. By the way, speaking of Chris though, if any of you are friends with Chris, our friend Chris Rosenthal, who's a friend of the show here, he cooked an absolutely ridiculous dinner for his bride. I believe it was yesterday. It was their anniversary, so happy anniversary to them. But the meal he cooked for her was amazing. And this is just a testament. Chris is a big man. He's a 6'6" guy, 270. His wife's incredibly intelligent, a very attractive woman. And this is just a testament to, if you're a big, ugly mug like we are, you can really achieve a lot by being able to cook well. So Chris was a fantastic meal, but as a man, that was a big thing.
Well, and I'd just like to point out that I don't believe Chris cooked anything canned for that meal. So just throwing that out there.
Another thing, during the stall in the feed we had there in the emergency session, I had misplaced the ramen noodles. So I had 3 bags of ramen in different spots. So if you see me go off the screen, I've been trying to go find where I put my ramen noodles. I'm going to send some condensed milk in here right now. The cool thing about the condensed milk, it's also going to be a thickening agent.
I don't think that anybody's ever said on a cooking show, I misplaced my ramen noodles. So there's a first for you there, folks.
And then I'm also going to put the garlic in at the same time I put the condensed milk in. Put the rest of the garlic in there. Again, I don't want the burnt garlic taste. I want the taste of the garlic, so it'll soften up with the heat that I've got, and then be part of the thickening agent here as well. So that's going to be good. The only items I have left to put in right now are basil, which I'll put in a little bit shortly. That'll be the next one that goes in. And then I'm going to add the peas, and they're canned peas. So I'm going to put them in a little bit late because they look and appear. I've already tried some. I'm going to try them again. They're already cooked and they're soft, so they don't need to get soft. They just need to get hot.
All right. Cole has a really good question here. Cole says, what is something the chefs eat from a can that they're embarrassed to tell everybody about? So what's an item that you actually like that comes out of the can?
I'll go first, Brian. I like canned wine. I've been, during the quarantine here, canned wine and box wine have been getting me through. So canned wine, I'm quite embarrassed. This was $3.99. It's delicious.
Wow. Brian, what about you? I guess it's a guilty canned pleasure.
I don't have to think about that one for a minute. I don't know if I really have one. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
I love.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Other than soup, I'm trying to think of something that I would grab in a
Campbell's
can.
chicken noodle. It would be.
So one steak tip here. I know it's not steak related, but if you're watching here on the grill cam, you can see me on the other side. I'm emulsifying this condensed milk with the wine blend I had going on. I had it cooked down, and it wasn't quite reduced as much, so I'm emulsifying it to avoid curdling. So the condensed milk stands up a little bit more than regular milk or cream, but I am emulsifying it. So if you were doing this at home, if you choose to make this recipe, make sure when you put the condensed milk in that you're stirring it, because if you don't, it's going to end up as curds.
I'm pretty sure that no one at home is going to try and cook that recipe. I'm pretty sure that this particular show will disappear from the internet, and 10 years from now, people are going to brag if they actually have a copy of this show. because
It tried
it is
to it tried to cancel itself 20 minutes in. We should have just let it go.
Let's just all
Yeah,
remember
that-
this was Carney's idea.
yeah. That was actually probably, some famous chef trying to catch you guys a break and cut you off cut the feed. Jonathan, if you get a chance on your Skype settings, turn off blur background because you're so far away from the camera. You're typically just always blurry.
Yeah.
So, not that we want to. No, you know what? Actually, maybe
Yeah,
you were a little better blurry. Yeah, yeah, you were better blurry. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead and turn that off if you can. When you're that far away, it doesn't, you don't get the cool factor like I do. Like right now, blurred the background that apparently looks like I'm in a marijuana farm with a blurred background. But there we go. Now we can see them.
So I got the basil
sure
added
that's
in
better.
here. I got the basil added, and right now I'm going to put in a little bit more chicken broth because I'm going to add the ramen noodles. And I'm not going to use the seasoning. That would just be faux pas.
Again, here's where John draws the line on the canned goods.
Right. Somebody wrote a dictionary this week.
He's using a lot of big words. A lot of big words. Somebody got a thesaurus for their birthday.
I'm just trying to keep up with all those really, sophisticated people from California. All right, so the chicken's coming along great. So the bacon, now that I'm waiting, I got the basil in, I got the pasta sitting over there that's heating up. We're probably about 8 to 10 minutes away from the pasta being ready. I got the basil in, we're going to add the peas at the end, and we're going to add the sun-dried tomatoes when we add the peas.
I kind of feel like the thing in Princess Bride where I don't think that word means what you think it does. You keep saying bacon, but you don't actually have bacon. You have spam.
It's almost as bad as him saying turkey bacon. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Hey, no swear words on the show.
All right, so I just thought about it. I guess if I had to pick a guilty, I don't know, it would be canned corn. Not taking the time to just canned corn would be it.
I would probably say, you know what? I would say olives, black olives. That's probably if I was to pick one can that's something other than soup, it's probably I pick up black olives, and you pretty much only get black olives in cans. I mean, unless you got like a nice store like a Whole Foods or something that has them all laid out where people could have touched them before you. Otherwise, I'm just getting them in a can.
Do you prefer olives in a can as opposed to some sodas are better in a can than they are in a bottle or glass? Do you prefer the olives from the can rather than from a glass?
No, I always prefer them in a glass. Always. But I the only time I buy black olives is typically if I'm making like some sort of Mexican food, and I just grab the sliced black olives just because I'm too lazy to cut them all up, and they're just fine. Otherwise, I'm always buying Kalamata olives in a jar, in glass. Now, if I go to if I find like a cool buffet or something, like not a buffet, but like a high end grocery store that has all the olives out there, like the mix and stuff, I really like that. Steve brought up a good point. Who did not put olives on their fingers as a kid? If you did not take up black olives when you were a kid on Thanksgiving and put them on all 5 of your fingers, then I just don't know you. You probably also didn't have lava on the floor and have to jump from couch to couch.
I coincidentally, here's a fact of the week about John Carney. I don't like olives.
I don't like olives either.
Hate them.
Really?
Hate
Really?
them.
Not even like Kalamata olives or anything like that?
Nope.
Black, green, whatever. Never been a fan.
Wow. Well, you heard it here, folks. Next week we'll be doing the olive-only edition of Quarantine Grilling. So I'm going to lobby that we change the show as mediator. I decide what you have to cook.
By the way, this can thing was 100% my idea. Brian wanted to do a burger show, and
he did. He did.
By the way, Brian is a great co-star because he just goes with kind of whatever I want to do. He has great ideas, and we want to do a burger show, but we decided that we saved the burger show for an ultimate grilling weekend special for Memorial Day weekend. The canned idea was my idea. It's a cool idea. It is brutal to do this. This is super challenging.
Fred,
And by the way,
I'm working really hard.
Yeah, Carney is not lying on this whatsoever, because we were on Burger Show, and then via text somehow it was there was no vote, there was no discussion, there was no like, hey, what do you guys think about doing a can only show? It was literally like, hey, this is what we're doing.
And Fred, just so you know, he texted me first and said, look, let's do this, this, and this. All right, I'll tell Fred. And then
yeah. I mean, you know what though? I always wanted to be part of something that basically someday I would say, be in an interview and go, we broke up due to, the group due to creative differences. So I finally am going to be able to say that.
So far.
So by the way, we did agree to an extent, because it is nice to have the ultimate grilling show for the Memorial Day thing. It'll be great, but I honestly wish I would have just stuck with burgers. You know what the hardest part right now is this pasta.
We agreed to defer the burger show. No one ever agreed on the canned goods scenario. Yeah. It was just out there.
By the way, a lot of my sister did some spam last week, so there's about 30 to 40 of her friends that asked for me to cook some spam, because she cooked it and it came out awful. If you don't like spam, just throw it in the garbage, don't buy it. However, if you are going to cook it, this recipe I'm putting together is delicious. Or if you just want to eat it, char grilling it on the charcoal is actually delicious. I've been eating spam right now. It's the first time I had spam in probably 30 years. It's actually not bad.
So little sidebar there, and I'm kind of curious. So if you do like spam, how can you possibly cook spam in a way that it does not taste good?
Right. It's already got its flavor base.
I mean...
So how's Danny's your food coming along, Brian?
Danny said, by the way, Danny's in the chat says every dish must have bacon. Danny is not wrong.
Yeah, but Danny also thinks every dish should be like well done, and every steak should be cooked,
he's medium well. He's medium well. Let's be precise.
No.
Danny is medium well. He's medium well.
I know Danny, and he likes it. That's a dirty lie. So the ramen noodles are breaking up. This is great. It's actually starting to look like a reasonable dish, Fred.
Aaron says Spam cheese egg McMuffins are my jam. That actually sounds pretty good.
Oh, wow.
So for those that are in the chat box, Fred, Aaron is the Wood Butcher.
Yep.
We got one of our sponsors on here tonight.
Danny just chimed in and said medium well, no blood. So there you go. Medium well, no blood.
It's a lie, Danny.
Well, that'll get you an increased audience. Start calling out your attendees online. We're just building. We're making friends here, building bridges, people.
So I had a little extra white wine
Cole's
here.
question's now up on the live thing. Do you have Cole's question? Can you take Cole's question off there that we answered like 20 minutes ago? This is why Carney can't cook and run the show at the same time.
When did this become a roast of John Carney?
Oh, no. Everybody's eligible at this point. There's nobody that, Cole says we need to do a frozen food episode. That is going to be coming, Cole. Absolutely.
Yes.
I like it.
All right, I'm plated.
Do the steaks I have in my freezer count as frozen food?
Sure.
All right, take a look at this.
Brian's doing a sophisticated plating there. So again, Brian, tell the viewers what you made.
So that is canned chili with canned Vienna sausages, canned tomatoes, canned Guinness, canned tomato paste, How's that look?
Looks good. Now I want you to take your little tasting spoon, but I want you to be very close to the camera so we get an honest reaction
Yeah.
of you on camera when you take a bite.
All right, hang on a second. All right, am I in the frame?
You are perfect, sir.
All right, here we go.
Our first chef is going for his canned food challenge. And again, apologies to Guinness for that being one of the ingredients. Oh, see, careful not to burn himself. That's an expert move right there. Little string of cheese coming off his lips. That's gonna cost him a point.
Yep. You know what? This is edible. I love this. Is actually
Edible.
This is
There
good.
we go.
Very good. Very good.
Jonathan, how you doing? Are you almost plating up or what? I mean, you have 6 courses and.
So I ran into one issue. I forgot one item. I forgot to put the sun-dried tomatoes in the sauce because I was focused on the ramen noodles. So I'm going to use the Spam can. I put the sun-dried tomatoes in there with olive oil, and I'm going to use it as part of the garnish on the top. So I'm going to put those right directly on the coals to heat them up. And we're going to throw those sun-dried tomatoes directly on the top here in just a few moments once that heats up. So I'm using the Spam can as a heating vessel.
Well, there should be points, bonus points on that. Steve put in the chat room, quote, "This is edible." Brian McGee, 4/20/2020. There we go.
You know what? I'm going to put the Vienna sausages on the grill and get a little char on them.
Oh, he's back. He's reinventing as he goes through it.
Let's get some char on these
So
sausages.
it's a texture issue, not a heat issue on the Vienna sausages. You're going back to the grill?
Yep, I'm going to go to the grill, get a little char on there.
You know, that's a technique that you don't see very often. I don't know how many times I've been in a really nice steakhouse and I've taken a couple bites and the chef comes back out of the table and says, "You know what? Let me do something different." He whisks it away, you know, and then he comes back 5 minutes later with a slightly different version. So that's a pro tip for you right there, folks.
That's a steak tip right there. Char.
That's a steak tip. So, Jonathan, so in keeping with our terms, what was the flavor potential before you started cooking?
So the marbling on the Spam was fantastic. It's a high fat item, so there was lots of flavor potential in the Spam. I hate to say it to hurt my credibility, but it did have flavor potential. There's a lot of fat. With that, that's one of the reasons I picked the chicken thighs too. A lot of flavor potential there, but in all reality, the flavor potential was very, very low. I'm gonna tell you, this has been very, very tough. I did not expect this to go the way it went and to be as challenging as I thought as it was. So this has been a tough one, and I picked it. I hold to it, and this has been tough. I've got my Spam with the sun-dried tomatoes in it, so those are getting hot in the Spam can. And I'm about to plate here. We're about to dump.
I don't know if you use these, Fred or Carney, but these oversized tweezers are another great tool to have in the kitchen.
Oh, those are nice.
All right.
And I believe those oversized tweezers, those were invented for grilling Vienna sausages, I think, in 1704. I'm pretty sure that's when they came up with the Vienna sausage tweezers. Yeah.
Like Paul Costa.
I can tell you, I can't wait for the after lounge for the amount of roasting that's going to happen.
Because there was no roasting done today.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
All right, let's try it with the grilled sausage.
If you're just joining us, you're going to have to go back and watch the beginning of the show once it's put up, because this is probably the most fun we've had around grills and with the guys so far, as everybody catches their stride in week 4. Brian redoing his meal, coming back to the table, and now roasted Vienna sausages, which I'm assuming puts it over the top. I mean, that really is the difference.
Gives it a nice smokiness. Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
We're assuming that Carney will have this wrapped up before the show's over. We're not really certain. I think he's plating.
All right. So I present to you. We're going to put the cheese on like you're sitting tableside.
Well, I mean, at all the finest canned restaurants, that's what they do. I mean,
Right.
yeah, that's classic. That's classic.
Man, is that not a restaurant idea or what?
Oh, yeah.
A canned restaurant?
Yeah. I will
So
give Jonathan bonus points for cooking stuff inside the Spam can, though. I think that was some resourcefulness going on there.
So I've got both dishes up top. I'm going to put some grated Parmesan. I'm going to bring the sizzle cam over. So let's zoom in. We'll go onto the sizzle cam here. I got the sizzle sound effects for you.
Is that a light?
So we're grating some Parmesan. Yeah, it's a light. So we're grating some Parmesan on top.
It's Jonathan's makeup light.
This is actually pretty good. I like it.
Actually, your grill cam's looking pretty good. I mean, that actually almost looks like real food there. Look at that.
So I present to you on the right-hand side. I love lots of Parmesan. I present to you on the right-hand side. We have grilled Oysters Rockefellar, all from a can. And on the left-hand side, we have your grilled Spam chicken carbonara, Spam featured in each dish. So there's your final product. I'll go back, pardon me, I'll go back to the screen with all of us here. We'll leave the food on the side, and I'm going to give this a taste. So let's see how it came out. And then I'm using my number 5 tool right here. Must-have tool for the kitchen. My iPhone.
Phone.
All right, here goes. Try the oysters. It's really good. The flavors I was looking to get, it's salty. You can taste the sweetness from the white wine and the shallots. Cheddar cheese was a great choice for this. I would recommend it. It was sharp. It's kind of cutting maybe any of the funk that would be from the oysters. Really good. I like the appetizer. I put some lemons on the sides. It's got some lemon juice on it. And then here's the moment of truth, the Spam carbonara. I will tell you if this sucks.
Don't forget to chase it with that can of wine.
Yep. Yep.
Let me cleanse my palate. All right. Here we go.
You know how we've had those episodes and we talked before about, the biggest thing that's a downfall of this show is that when we're all cooking, we don't get to try each other's foods.
Right.
I'm not having that feeling that this week.
You're not
just
feeling
really
that?
not. It's just no. It's just not this week. This week, not so much.
I'm going to tell you. This was very challenging. The ingredients all sucked. It's very rewarding to eat this at the end. I don't know how you feel about yours, Brian.
No, I like it. I'm definitely going to eat this all week. It'll be good.
By the way, 3 bags of ramen go very far. This is a gigantic. It's like a 12-inch cast iron.
Did you leave any raw ramen to add like a little crispy topping?
Oh,
my plate's done. I'm not going to come back to the table.
Oh,
the Parmesan's on it. We're good.
You got to have the little crispy topping there at the end.
No, I really like it. I'm putting some more cheese on there, but it came out surprisingly really good. Obviously, this is not a recipe I've ever done before, but no, I'm real happy with mine. I wish everybody could try it. I mean, it's not bad. It was a great use. I've never cooked like this with spam bacon. It came out really good. I'm actually going to enjoy. I'm really enjoying eating it. It's different, very different.
I just wish we would have done this show in like November when it was cold. It would have been perfect. Well,
Yeah.
at least down here anyway.
Well,
This
we're
is
in
almost
the
like
60s today.
this is almost like the camping episode. Like you're going camping
Right.
and you only have canned foods with you.
So yeah, my food's done. I think it's delicious. I'm really enjoying it. I've got my customers coming by here shortly. It's good if Cole wants to come down and do the after show with me and try this out, so he can actually attest how decent it is. He's more than welcome to come down. I got a cigar with your name on it. It's I don't have any cigars in cans, but we can smoke backwoods.
Canned cigars.
That was really good, Brian. It actually turned out this was really fun. It was actually
It
really
turned out
fun.
a lot better than I thought it would. A lot better.
So yeah, Spam Carbonara, Spam Bacon, Oysters Rockefeller, aka Oysters Carnefeller, with some edible flowers, and life's good. I would do this again. I would actually cook these dishes again.
Yeah. This is something you like. This chili. This pot will last all week and it'll be perfect because it'll only get better.
So yeah, I mean, and by the way, we're about an hour and 15 minutes. We're still trying to get down to that 1 hour time, but I think we hit it. So Fred, I guess the final ruling is based off of what you saw here. Should we lobby for our dish? Do you want us to lobby?
No.
Beg?
No. Yeah, you tell me why your dish should win, and we'll go with that. But before we do that,
Yeah.
I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank our sponsors for hanging with us beyond this week. Please do not use this week and these culinary items as your defining factor of anything going forward whatsoever. And yes, so I'm going to start with Brian. Your 30-second pitch on why you think you should have you get the title this week.
Well, I think I used cans. I stuck to the program. I made a good chili, and of course, going back and putting the flavor on the Vienna sausage with the grill, put it over the top.
All right, Jonathan, when you're done, your 20 pounds of ramen there, 30-second pitch, why you should win this week.
So I stuck to the program like Brian did, but the reason I should win, I used more cans. I also used the can as a cooking vessel, and I transformed Spam into something edible.
But he did say Spam bacon, so that's negative points.
Yeah. Well, so this week's winner, who was originally up 673 points, but lost 671 points by using the word spam and bacon twice, more than twice in a sentence, but still edges up the win by 2 points. Jonathan Carney wins this week in our first mediator choice of who wins, with 2 points running there to go cumulative total towards the year. But yes, I mean, I kind of felt like it was a little bit of, the kid in the Make-A-Wish Foundation that was trying really hard with a lot of cans. But you know what? I got to give you credit. You definitely embraced it. You definitely went for it. Right, wrong, or indifferent. And thankfully, we don't have to try it, so we can't back it up. We're going to assume it's palatable. And I thank everybody for being on the show as well. Gentlemen, any last parting words before we head to the after-hours Zoom party?
Yep, we'll be after our Zoom party. I'll post that link within the next 5 minutes at the most of us being online. This episode did record all the way through, even though we had that little gap in the middle there. So we will be uploading to YouTube this week. So we will be on YouTube. It's Quarantine Grilling. We'll share it on social media, but we will be venturing onto YouTube, and so that will be available for viewing in high definition. If you'd like to see us in high definition, that'll be this week. But we'll see you in the Zoom lounge. But Thank you. Yeah, this was fun. I'd advise everybody try to do this. It was a great thing to do during the quarantine. Definitely creative, and it provided for a few days of fun putting this together. So thanks for going with it, and thanks for pushing the burger episode off so we could do it. It was a good time.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
This is actually going to